Hi, I'm Justin with FoilArtistry.com, and today I'm here to introduce you to the IO foil printer. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the IO foil printer components, the various features of an IO foil printer, how to set it up, and a quick demo just to show you what an IO foil printer does. So let's get started. How did the IO foil printer begin? Well, the IO foil printer was invented by a professor, Virginia Myers, out of the University of Iowa, along with her friend Dan Winman. Now, let's begin with the IO foil printer components. The IO foil printer consists of two components. You have a hot plate and a handheld printer unit. The hot plate can come in two different sizes. There's a 20-inch and a 24-inch. And the 20-inch dimension is referring to the aluminum plate on top the wooden carrier. So a 20-inch measures 20 inches by 20 inches square, where a 24-inch measures 24 by 24 inches square. One thing to consider if you're buying a foil printer is, do you plan to carry it or move it around to shows with you, or do you plan to leave it in your home or in a single spot? If you plan to be moving it more, I highly recommend buying the smaller 20-inch version because it's substantially lighter and easier to maneuver. The larger 24-inch version of the foil printer weighs about 90 pounds and measures about 34 inches by 34 inches. So it's a big piece and requires two people typically to handle it. And the printer is the second component. It's a handheld device that is used in conjunction with the hot plate. Let's begin to look at some specific features of the IO foil printer. Both have independent temperature controllers that are set from anywhere from 100 to 260 degrees Fahrenheit. The hot plate consists of a wooden carrier, which is handmade from local craftsmen out of the Amana colonies here in Iowa. This aluminum plate is a half-inch thick and is anodized for long-term corrosion protection. It's heated from underneath and has a temperature controller in the center of the plate and is controlled by the controller here in the front face of the panel. The metal strip you see here in the front is so you can use magnets to help retain the foils during the printing process. We also have a printer rest here on the side to help protect the wood carrier when you set down your printer on here. Instead of banging up the wooden frame, this takes all the beating. So this piece is replaceable if you ever decide it's damaged enough and would like to replace it. There's also, on the back side, there's an inlet power module. This is where, when you plug your power cord in when you purchase a new unit. It also has an on and off switch. The interior of this and protect the electronics that controls your hot plate. Let's look at the printer in more detail. Again, it has the integrated controller. It has a silicone roller which is internally heated. The temperature probe on this one is optical, so it looks at the temperature or the surface of the roller to determine its temperature. And then the controller turns on the power or off the power, turns off the power as needed to maintain the set temperature. It also includes a dispenser. It's spring-loaded on one side and rigid on the other. You pop your foil in between the two rollers here, and then feed the foil along these rods on the back side. I'll demonstrate that in a future video, so I won't go into detail on it for now. There's also an integrated knife here for cutting off the foil once you've dispensed it. It simply slides across and cuts the foil off. The last thing I'd like to cover with you is the three different positions you can have your foil printer in. The handheld printer unit in. That is this position here, which is handy for loading the foil. There's also this position here, which is typically the one you would put the unit in as you were done with your work. As you would run it across the hot plate like this, you pick it up and then you'll rest it back down and it will stay on the printer rest until you need it again. The third position then is the most stable position. This is highly recommended for long-term storage. It can also be stored upside down as this. Either position is fine. It's the most stable position for your printer and will prevent it from falling over and being damaged. So let's look at setup. When you first receive your printer, you'll notice that the handheld unit does not have a power switch, so it only has a power cord. So to simply turn it on, you just plug it into your power supply. And once the unit is turned on, the display will display typically 100 degrees, which is what it comes from the factory from. And it's displayed in degrees F. If you prefer to go to Celsius, the user manual does tell that, and I will describe how to do that in a future video. And also, let's turn on the hot plate at the same time. So the hot plate has a detachable cord, and it first plugs in to the back side of the power module, and then you plug it into your power supply, and then you turn on the power switch. And again, the display now reads 100, so you know that your power is on to your hot plate. Now, one thing to consider, the larger 24-inch and this handheld printer unit combined draw about 10 amps. So usually most house circuits can handle both of them running off one circuit. So if you ever want to try to run two or these or more together in your home, you should probably have separate outlets or separate breakers within your electrical system. So let's set this typically about 180 degrees. So I'll set it 180, as a lot of foils are stamped at 180. You'll see it flash, and once it flashes, it checks to see what temperature it is and if it needs heat or not. So you'll see here that the load light is now on, and that tells me that it's not at 180 degrees, and it's now currently trying to heat up the plate until it reaches 180 degrees. Once it reaches 180, the load light will turn off, and that's how you know that your hot plate or your roller is at the current temperature. Now to set this one, you just hold the up arrow until it reads 170 and 180. Again, you'll see it flash, and now it's heating because the load light's on. The printer can heat up from 100 degrees to 180 in maybe 5 or 6 minutes, where the hot plate can take 10 to 15 minutes. So if you're going to do your work, plan ahead and let your hot plate warm up. The last part I'd like to cover with you is a quick demonstration of the foil printing process. The printing process is made by using these reflective foils, as I have a small sample of here. In fact, there's one catalog here by a company called API, and there's numerous companies that sell these reflective foils. Just to give you an idea of what's available, you can see that their entire greens, reds, every color that you would want to work with is available. Golds, reflectives. But what makes foil printing unique, as you can see, the reflective foils. There's holographic foils. Stuff you can't get or do with pastels, pencils, or paints. And one other thing to mention is Virginia Myers also produced this lovely book called Foil Imaging, a New Art Form. I highly recommend getting this book if you're interested in foil printing. There's numerous different pictures of artwork in here, and each artist described how they produced this artwork using foil printers. So you can reproduce the piece or their technique if you choose to. But one of the most unique things about this book is it actually has samples of foil in it. This page here is just an example of some of the foil colors available. And then the second page here is the same page, except this time she's overlaid a translucent pearlescent blue over the different materials to give you an idea of how different colors can be created and the different effects of overlaying one pigment over another. And the third page here is the same pearlescent blue, except it goes from 1 coat to 5 coat, and you can see how it goes from lighter to darker. Again, showing you the vast range you can do with these foils. And similar is a taupe, doing the same from 1 coat to 5 coats. As you can see, there's lots of variability you can do with the foil printer. So let's move on to the quick demonstration here. So on this piece of paper here, I've already applied the polymer. You can kind of see it as the shiny reflective. It's not over the whole surface, just on the center of the page. So I will put that on my printer, and then I have some small pieces of foil here. I just will begin laying them over the So it's important, once the polymer is heated, the foil will stick to it. So it's best to lay your foils down before you're ready to have them stuck down, or they will stick on you. So I quickly will put them here, just to give you an idea of the different looks and techniques that you'll get. So you'll see, as soon as I lay that down, those foils will start to stick. And this is just silicone paper to protect my roller from the adhesive, because it's a lot easier to do a little prevention than to clean the adhesive off later. So I'm going to sand off the side here just for this demonstration. But you basically balance the printer, and foil printing is a process of time, temperature, and pressure. So you slowly go over the foils until they are bonded down to that adhesive. And I'll rest my printer down on the printer rest. Remove the workpiece, and then you wave it in the air until it cools back down. And remove my silicone paper. So now it looks like this, and I can begin removing the backing on the foils. And what's left is actually adhered to the paper. And as you will notice, the foil only sticks to where the adhesive is, and the foils do not stick to each other unless you put more adhesive down. So there you go. That's just an example of how to get the foils to stick to the paper. But as you can see, go to iowafoilprinter.com and you can see other examples from various links, and I've linked other artists there to give you an idea of what is actually possible with foil printing. And there you have it. Just a quick example of getting the foils to stick to a piece of paper. It's not meant to be a piece of artwork here, obviously. But go to the iowafoilprinter.com. You can read more about the Iowa Foil Printer there. Link to some various artists that do this work every day. And look forward to seeing you in future videos. Bye.